All right, we're back. This is again University of St. Thomas Math 005, and this is part 7 for our first lesson. We're going to go over PEMDAS very briefly and do a little bit of practice there. And eventually we're going to get to do some reducing of fractions and multiplying and dividing of fractions. So PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. And there's some things that people tend to get mixed up. I want to make sure that we're really clear on those. Our parentheses, we start with the innermost first, okay? And we'll talk about what an innermost one is. I have one here, right? This would be our innermost, and then this is the one that's grouping outside of that. We have exponents, including roots. That means square roots, cube roots, whatever kind of root we're looking at. Those are exponents as well. Our multiplication and division, and here's where people really start to go wrong. Multiplication and division happen at the same time. They are not, you don't do multiplication and then go through and do division. You do them at the same time, left to right. Addition and subtraction, same deal. I see way too many people thinking they should add and then subtract. The answer is no, you're adding and subtracting at the same time as you go left to right. So in this particular case, I have some that we're going to kind of work our way through. So I have 9 divided by 3. All right, that's going to get me a 3, right? And then I'm going to multiply that by 4 divided by 2 times 14. And I'm going to go ahead and say I have 3 times 4, right? I'm going left to right. Now I'm going to have a 12 divided by 2 times 14. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to divide this 12 by 2. That's going to get me 6 times 14. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and multiply those. That's going to be a 4, 20, and then 84. All right. And I'll show you or post a method for multiplication that I think is very useful. But anyway, for the moment, this is going to be our answer on this problem. All right. We took it one step at a time, right? We dealt with everything in order, right? Everything that was multiplication and division, we did them in the same row. We didn't stop and go back and do something else. All right. So now let me go ahead and scroll this up. We're going to take a look at our parentheses and deal with that and finish up what we're doing. Okay, so we said parentheses, we start with our innermost first. These guys here are inside this set of parentheses or this set of grouping. All right, so we need to do that first. All right, so here I'm going to have my 7. I'm going to bring my bracket down. I'm going to have 3. And then I'm multiplying that by 6 minus 2, which is going to be a 4. Minus 64 equals, and we're going to go ahead and do the next step here. I've got these. This is again, I'm still in my groupings. I haven't gotten rid of all of my parentheses yet, or all of my groupings. So I need to deal with this one. So I've got 7, and then this is 12, right? Minus 64. So now I've gotten rid of all of my parentheses. I don't have any exponents to address, so we're going to leave it just alone. Now I'm going to deal with my multiplication and division. Here I only have multiplication, and that's going to be 7 times 12. That's going to get me a 84. And then I'm going to just bring this negative 60, or subtracting 64 down. And then I go ahead and do my addition and subtraction. There's no addition here, just the subtraction. So my 84 minus 64 is going to give me 20. All right. And one last one before I end up this video. Here I have a fraction with some stuff happening in the numerator, some stuff happening in the denominator, and we need to figure out what the value is here. So I want to point out that when you have a fraction, you can treat this just like each of these pieces is inside parentheses. The numerator is all one piece that's inside the parentheses. The denominator, you can treat it just like it's inside parentheses. All right? So, and you can do either one first. All right? You need to do all of it, but you can pick which one you want to do. And just because I can, I'm going to go ahead and deal with my denominator first. All right? And then I'm going to come back and deal with my numerator. So here I'm going to have my 3 times 8. I'm not doing anything with this, right? This is still just going to be what I have. So 3 times 8 minus 4 times 3. And here I'm going to have my 5 times 7 is going to give me 35 minus 34. All right? So that one's going to be pretty simple. So I'm going to go ahead, bring this on down. I'm still going to have that 3 times 8 minus 4 times 3. And here I'm going to say 35 minus 34 is going to give me a 1. All right, so my denominator's now taken care of. Now I have to address my numerator. I'm not done yet, right? It's real easy to say, oh, I've accomplished this thing and now I'm done. Well, no, we have to do the whole thing, not just the denominator. So here I'm going to say there's 2 ways you could approach this. One is you could factor out the 3's. All right. I'm going to do that, and then I'm also going to show you the other way you could do it. All right, which would be to multiply everything out and then subtract. So here I'm going to pull the 3 out from this particular set of numbers. So I've got 3, and then that's going to multiply my 8 minus 4. And that's all over 1. So 8 minus 4 is going to leave me with a 4. So I've got 3 times 4 all over 1, which is going to give me a 12. All right. Now, if you didn't spot this, or if you're not comfortable doing this step of, factoring out the 3, you could just as easily say, well, 3 times 8 is going to equal 32, or I'm sorry, 24. So 24, right? And then I have this, I'm going to subtract this piece, which is my 4 times 3, right? And I'm going to do that. That 4 times 3 becomes 12. All right, I've got 24. So I've got my 24 minus 12, which is going to leave me with the 12. And this is all over, this is going to be all over right? That's going to be all over 1. Now, if you are like, well, what is 12 over 1 is just 12? That's fine. Yeah, that's true. So our answer here is 12.